Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining me today. I want to take a few minutes and look at the beautiful lyric solo from an outdoor overture by Aaron Copland. I love this piece. It's quite challenging to play, but it shouldn't sound that way. And the marking in the music, in the score, say cantabile, which means a song-like, a singing style, and freely with natural expression. So it should sound effortless and free. And it's difficult, challenging to get it to sound that way sometimes. So I'm going to talk about some musical things that I think if you focus on them will help you. Now there's always the craftsmanship. There's no question about that. You need to be playing these scales and arpeggios, these interval relationships, in tune. And especially as you play that last scale from the high C on the B-flat trumpet all the way down to the low C. It needs to be a beautiful leading line, a phrase that sounds like it's going someplace, but the notes need to be pretty close to being in tune as well, otherwise it's a distraction for the listener. So the craftsmanship of playing really well in tune on the trumpet, and the craftsmanship of having a good sense of time, subdivided rhythm, the flow of the tempo, as it were, those things are really, really important. But to me, what helps me to do that is to concentrate on what's happening with the music. Now, it may not work that way for everybody, and granted, you have to kind of build your foundation of craftsmanship first. So always be working on that every day. I know I certainly do. So then you can be free to play the music, freely and with natural expression. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to play a little bit and just point out a couple of things that I hope may help you when you're thinking about it. And it's how you're thinking about it musically that can really make it easier to play physically. Okay, right from the top. So I just played a couple of phrases, and I don't want to get overly analytical. I want to keep this simple. So if you can hear in the harmonic context what's going on. So you keep on returning to that G, F concert. And this feeling, the musical feeling, is one of leading to and reaching for it. Now this carries through the whole piece. So it's a pickup, so you say I'm gesturing the sense of direction. That's what makes this work. Now, how do we get that sense of direction to come out? Well, listen for it. If you hear it in your musical imagination, that's the easiest way to do it. Hear a good performance, let that sink in, try and emulate that, sing it to yourself, do all these things to kind of open up your musical imagination. That's where everything starts. But then there are craftsmanship elements to it. You can use things like color and vibrato and obviously dynamic change. Those are three of the main things in order to give a sense of direction. So then you have to make decisions. When am I carrying the line? When am I letting the line relax? When am I leading to something and arriving at something? And when am I releasing the energy? And where am I going to next? It's always a constant flow. Where am I going to next? So I'll try and show you a few of those things, and they carry through the whole piece. And this, obviously, it's not just about this piece. It's about anything in this style. Actually, anything musical has these elements in it. So let me play a little bit more. And what I want you to listen for is what I'm doing, the decisions I'm making in terms of when I'm just playing, I'm keeping the ball rolling, or when I'm deciding to give some momentum to it. I'm deciding that the hill is getting steeper and now the ball is rolling downhill. Or when the ball starts rolling back uphill again. Now you see how I'm talking about this is it's physical, it's organic. And that's what music is sound that gives you the impression of physical movement. Of course, we know this if you go to a dance club and you have a pounding rhythm. That's something that makes you want to move your body. This is a different kind of motion, but it's still the same principle that underlies the whole thing. So let me play a little bit again, and then I want to get into the next section so you can see how one thing leads to another. And this is a beautifully composed, beautifully constructed little solo. Let me show you. You see how can you hear what I'm doing in terms of carrying and the direction? That's what you want to listen for. Any great performance that you hear on any instrument of any music, listen for these elements, develop a taste for it. I'm going to go ahead now. Now we start reaching higher. Yes, the pitch changes. To take a breath someplace in there. I like to sustain when I'm practicing, and the reason is, as I did on the high C, and the reason is when you're sustaining a note, you notice I didn't say holding the note. It's not about holding the note, it's about releasing the note. When you're sustaining it, you're feeding it. You're maintaining the momentum and you're leading through the note to something else. And that's what gives you the wonderful sensation. When you hear this musical effect of carrying the line, portamento, carrying the line all the way through. So did you hear the different levels? I'm gradually building up. So I'm doing that with dynamics. Da, 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 dee. And he's got a little crescendo in there to say to you, it's okay, you can crescendo. It's going to the upper register, fine, just let it happen. Just like using your voice, da, dee, da, da, da. Natural expression. You would normally do that with your voice. Cantabile, like a vocal style, like a song. So these are the things to keep in mind here. Now as to the mechanics, you all know that you're supposed to play in tune and you're supposed to play in time. But I'm going to put it in a different way. It's not about right or wrong, success or failure. It's about the qualities that come into the music through your being attentive to this. And you know, I could do much longer session on how to practice these things. I'll get into that in more detail in the kind of the nuts and bolts part of the website. But for now, I mainly want to talk about how this piece swings. In other words, it has a do 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 do. There's a backbeat to it, and he shows it to you. He lets you play it. And that helps keep that spin, that momentum going. You also have a triplet. So you have a duplet subdivision, 16ths and 8ths, and then you have a triplet, boo, do, 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 do. And that's what I want to point out here, is if you feel big beats and you're aiming a long way down the road, you're looking a long way down the road for where you're going to be arriving. Then you tend to physically play to there. You release the air more easily. You help to carry the sound and maintain the quality of the projection and the ring in the sound. It helps you the way you're thinking musically. Where am I going? Where am I leading to here? So this subdivided rhythm is something that you have to practice by itself. You know, if I just like I was doing, if I go do 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 dee da da dee da da dee da. Now, how do I apply that to the lyrical line? Be subtle. Think it. Don't try and make anything physical happen. Just listen for it. Let me go ahead and play the end where it starts to reach, because one of the hardest things to do in this piece, and I hope I can successfully demonstrate it to you, is when you play the end, when you play this big scale, that it seems like one motion, that it keeps spinning, that it keeps the ear of the listener engaged to see where we're going, even though you're playing down a scale, major scale, and we already know where we're going. We can hear in the key. So what carries the musical expression in this? It's the feeling of the gigantic, long gesture. I'm going to try. I hope this works for you. Well, I'm not sure if that worked. I'll have to check the recording. I know what I'm trying to do, and that's where you start. See how I'm always going someplace? Now, let me show you a little trick here, and this is again how the music can help you. When I'm playing it, I'm trying to figure out not just the big shape, but the intermediate shapes. Now, this can get too fussy. But if you listen to it, I'm thinking of it kind of like this. I'm going to take it out of time so you can get the idea. And I'll leave you with this thought, and hopefully that's enough food for you to chew on and try and digest today. Go on and try and apply this to your playing. And keep it simple. Just play one section at a time like I'm doing here. Work on it and see if you can get these things in your taste. And that's what you're trying to develop. So I'm going to play the descending scale again. So let me tell you what I'm thinking. I'm going to play it again, and let's see if you can hear it. It's very, very subtle. It's easy to overdo these things. So that's why we need to record ourselves and listen. So this is what I'm thinking. Da, 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 dee, da, da, dum, dee, da, dee, da, 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 dee, da, dee. So I'm going da, 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 dum, dee, da, dum. So the last two quarter note triplets in the group of 6, I'm leading into the next phrase. Now, if you exaggerate that too much, it disturbs the big gesture that I talked about before. You see how subtle some of these things are? But if you can hear them, you can do them. It's just a matter of practice. So I hope that you believe me on that, and take heart, be courageous. Go ahead and try and apply some of these things to your playing. And if you can taste it and you can't do it, maybe there's some work to do on just the basic craftsmanship first. These subtleties, these fine points, these, as one of my students says, finishing touches to win an audition. That's what we're talking about a little bit today. But first you have to have the foundation of easy, almost unconscious sense of pitch and rhythm. So keep working, folks, and please join me later on. Apply this to your playing and enjoy the process. Have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.